Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to the Reinhardt Season 9 Commander Card video. Reinhardt is kind of a weird rogue commander. Like, you don't have to be max leadership and max gear to really make a dent, because his Thorns damage is the source of all of his damage, and really, it ignores tier suppression. So as long as you get hit and you have Thorns on, you are going to do a ton of damage to the enemy force. So the idea behind Reinhardt's, or Money's Reinhardt, we're saying, now there are a couple other players out there that have built some great Reinhardts, but I'm saying Money's Reinhardt because, this is the build I originally saw. Anyway, credit where credit's due. I think Hope had a great one, and Bird did too. Oh well. Anyway, the breakdown is this. It's still running old tier 12, right? The Origin ships for tear space damage and more tankability. The new airships aren't as defensive, right? They're more offensive. The Valkyrie helmet for maximum HP. Double Eternal Barriers, because you're just trying to survive and kill them with that Thorns damage. And then Shadow Chest Piece for a ton of hit points and a little resistance weaken in case you run into a pesky infantry commander. Not like those are a problem. And then Fearless Pants, the damage reduction pants. And that's the most important part of this build, is damage reduction. You see, Reinhardt has a 30% and a 40% skill. The 30% is his heal, which is like Elf's heal. He takes damage, he heals. It's very useful. It heals a lot of troops. The lower he gets, as long as he started with a lot of troops, he heals up the difference, percentage of the in-between. I'll show some replays here in a second. But the damage from the Thorns is actually, at level 60, 20% damage reduction. Stack that with 3-piece Cassiopeia, the damage reduction pants, and all of a sudden you're breaking 50-60% damage reduction, which goes a long way, even on low tier. Tier 1 and Tier 2 on Reinhardt can be really scary. So he's kind of a rogue build. I like Reinhardt because as a big player, you never want to run into a Reinhardt, doesn't matter what tier they are, unless you one-shot them. See, Reinhardt has to survive the hit. His Thorns are based on how many troops survived or how many triggered it. No, how many survived if they don't kill the entire slot, I think, right? Yeah, they have to survive. Okay, as far as the gem goes, you're going to be gemming pure HP. You want that tear space damage, you want that survivability, you're going to have plenty of defense, and there's a lot of ignore defense meta out there, which is your main concern, right? Non-violent resistance, Nekajiro, breakdown from Vega, those are big damage ignoring skills, and they don't do anything for your tear space. Your tear space damage, that's all HP. So gem purely HP and accuracy. Okay, now some of the gems, you're going to do 2-piece Leo and 3-piece Cassiopeia. For those ones, if you can't get accuracy or HP, take damage. Okay, the 3-piece Cassiopeia is 10%. You got to have that. The Scorpio is a hard guaranteed hit. Then you run Cepheus to stop your opponent from healing. So another Reinhardt or running into Vegas or Elves, you need that Cepheus to stop your opponent from healing. And then Virgo, that further softens their damage, makes them go last. That way you can trigger more of your heals and Thorns before they get to go. You can get away with not having 4 gems in Reinhardt. You can easily get away with Scorpio, Cepheus, and 3-piece Cassiopeia, or mix it up to how you like. If you're going to awaken Crit Wither, and then try to just avoid single damage hard-hitting commanders, Gillies, Nekos, Vegas, right? If they one-shot you, you're in trouble. But anyone that's slow to build up their damage or also a tank commander, he's going to dominate them pretty candidly. And I'll show some replays here in a second. Did I miss anything? Nah. The other thing about Reinhardt is you don't have to have an S-class Reinhardt, because his Awakening really doesn't do much for you. And frankly, it can trigger heals on other commanders. So all of your damage is coming from Thorns and a little bit of tear space damage. So don't worry about the S-class unless you need to absorb the commander if you want to make him a main. More leadership, the better. The more troops that trigger the Thorns, the more damage you do when you get hit. And if you watch Replay of the Week, you know we've seen some great replays with low tier Reinhardt. Here's the skills, 30% and 40%. Like I said, it has built-in damage reduction. People overlook that, but that's actually quite good. Okay, so let's get into the replays. I got to organize my replays better. These are all the replays I have. Really, this is the Season 8 build. It's just as good as the Season 9 build because it hasn't really changed. So this was a replay versus, I don't remember, is that, whose Reinhardt is this? I don't know. The build's the same, though. And this is a long replay. I don't want to make this a long video. It doesn't need to be long. But basically what it's showing is that he's going to heal off every damage he takes, including Awakenings, including Curses. And then it's just like this weird back and forth. As long as he's surviving, if you don't kill Reinhardt in the first round, watch out, because over time he will win the battle of the War of Attrition. This is a bit of a slow replay. If you want to watch this is actually a public video. It's called Elfers Reinhardt. Search Elfers Reinhardt Melt AOW to kind of watch the back and forth. This is from a live stream. I don't want to waste too much time on this one. I'll show you a quicker one with Money's Reinhardt. This was one he asked me not to share, but basically it's the tank Stella build, right? But remember, Reinhardt counters tank builds. So Gemini will trigger his heal twice. Gemini against Reinhardt is bad. You do not want to be running Gemini if you run into a Reinhardt, because he'll heal twice. You got to hit hard. But anyway, this replay, it does end up getting cut short, but you kind of see Stella just doesn't hit hard enough. And Reinhardt's easily able to take the hits. And then by the end of the replay, which is coming up, I'm going to pause it right. Wait for it. Wait for it. What? There. Okay. So by the end of the replay, Stella's front row is destroyed. Her back row is taking some damage. Her front row is there's a little bit in the middle, but the third and sixth slot are completely gone. And all Reinhardt really had to do was just land some guaranteed hit from Scorpio Terror Space and then let the shields and the heal do the rest. So it's one of the best builds, I think, honestly, for all players that don't have Tier 12 or don't have the biggest commander in the game. They can get away and do a lot with a Reinhardt and punish players big time. Actually, I probably should show the Tier 1 version. Yeah, this is a Tier 1 Reinhardt replay. And thanks for sending this in, Scab. This, if against a small march especially, you can do a ton of Thorns Dam. This is a 200,000 leadership Rogers versus like a, 5,000 leadership, 200,000 leadership Reinhardt versus a 5,000 leadership Rogers. And Rogers just destroys himself. There's the armor on slot 3, right? So there's the armor. Here comes, and now there's the tier suppression, so the Tier 1 does nothing, but here comes the hit. Guarantees hit, and here comes the Thorns. Oh, there's the heal. Reinhardt gets his heal. He survives the hit from the damage reduction. Tier 1 survives the hit. Boom! One-shots. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing way. Now, don't get me wrong. If you get one shot and you lose with Reinhardt, that's a lot of leadership to put in your hospital. But making Tier 1 and Tier 2 is very easy. If you like Reinhardt and you want this build and you want to share it in the other Commander cards, check in the description of this video and other Commander card videos. You can download them, share them with your friends in Guild. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll do another one soon.